Okay, so I was able to isolate the fact that the plugin really does not like null or just empty. And so that is an area that needs to be improved upon and will be. But when you just completely omit the key, it doesn't break functionality and it just comes through as empty. So in this example here now, I've basically narrowed it down just to the first name, last name, email, and the other values here. I removed the phone and the gender simply because there were too many null values causing issues, and getting these values from Mockaroo at this stage right now, I'm not 100% sure of how to specify the necessary format so that we can get a larger list out easily. But ChatGPT can do it too for you. So here now, I have my list as a JSON format. Okay, we can see that we do have this information mostly just already filled in as it would need to be. And so on this, I also have my checkbox for create unique identifier. So when I go and preview this, you'll see we've got the ID, okay, we've got the name, gender, etc. So just keeping track of this, right? You can see here that this ID. Well, if I just refresh this page, it's going to be a different ID. And the reason why that's happening is just because the IDs are blank. So if I were to copy this ID and then come back into my sample value here and come into the first entry, and then let's go ahead and add that. Okay, so now this ID will be the same one, but all the others are going to be, different than they were last time. That's because they're getting created at that moment. Right? But this one already has its ID, so it is not being recreated. It is staying the ID that it was. So this is very important to being able to utilize this within the applications in various areas for various reasons, because at some point you will already have had stored the ID onto the objects, and so they would be getting returned whenever you go to fetch it, and so therefore adding these back in is going to be something that would not be necessary to be done like as a recreation, and so therefore they stay the same value, and you can keep track of these objects in the exact same way that you would any kind of regular bubble data type entry. So what I'm going to do now, very simply, I'm just going to go ahead, put a button onto here. I'm going to say add workflow. Got to deal with this thing now. Okay, so buttons clicked. So what are we doing? We're saying data things, create a new thing. I've got this thing here called contact DB. It's the list of them, so that's what I'm going to be creating. And contact DB, we're going to set another field. That's going to be the contact list. I'm going to say set list, and that set list is going to be the Data Jedi's value list. Okay, so now we've got that ability to put it into the database. So when I go ahead and refresh this, is that put into every single repeating group? That's not where I wanted it. Let's get it up here. Okay, edit workflow. Okay, that's fine. Preview. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and press that button. Now when I come back into my database, I go to app data contacts. We're going to have one. It's all going to read data from API connector. You're not going to be able to get in and see this. And so that is one drawback. If you're very comfortable with and you appreciate being able to see at a glance from within your app editor the data, that's fine. The Data Jedi plugin still has functionality built into it that allows you to actually create, modify, manipulate all this data on the client, and then to actually update it as like a normal data type would be, which is where the field exposed state of bubble API ready JSON comes into play. Again, another video that will go into the details of how to utilize that. All right, so right now, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to drop another Data Jedi onto here, and Bubble's not allowing me to quick type copy and paste, thank you. So now let's just go ahead and waste the time that way. Okay, so let's get this Data Jedi contact list from DB. All right, so everything stays the same except we are going to now need to set this up this way. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the necessary closing and opening brackets. I'm going to insert dynamic data. I'm going to say do a search for, and I'm going to search for contact DB. I'm going to go ahead and say it's the first item, and I'm getting the contact list, and I want to format this as like JSON. Okay. So what I'm going to do to make this a little bit simpler on me in terms of content to show, I'm just going to come back in here, and I'm just going to grab this because this is the content that I'm trying to show. And so therefore, it makes it a little bit simpler to set this up. And so I'm going to paste that in. And now here, I'm able to take my values and insert them as you would anything else that's going to be. So it's this contact ID, all right? Now I can just go ahead and copy that expression, and then I can start to just go ahead, insert dynamic, paste the expression, and let's change from ID to first name. And I'm going to go ahead and get this done for every single one of these fields that we are trying to display. And let's get last name. We'll do the email as well because I believe that everybody had emails. Were they? Maybe I wasn't showing them. Okay, so what am I showing here? I'm showing first name, ID, created date. All right. So that's what we'll just do here. We'll get rid of these other ones and add back in that comma. And let's get rid of these. Okay, so we'll just take this, insert dynamic data, paste the expression, and it is the created date. We'll do the formatted as simplified extended ISO. Okay, and our delimiter is the comma. Okay, so this should work. Let's go ahead now and preview the page. Let's inspect and see if it's coming through. The contact list from that, it is empty. So what is it that is causing the problem here? Let's come back in and see how did we structure this. Okay, let's see. I don't think we want the double quotes around the created date. I need to go off camera and try to figure out what it is that I'm doing wrong here.